Donald Trump has a long history of making baseless claims about election fraud. Even before he entered politics, he promoted conspiracy theories. In 2011, he questioned Barack Obama's birth certificate. This showed a pattern of challenging legitimacy. Trump continued this trend during his presidency. In 2016, he claimed, without evidence, that millions of people voted illegally. This was despite winning the Electoral College. His claims were debunked by election officials from both parties. However, Trump's rhetoric sowed doubt about the electoral process. This set the stage for future challenges. After losing the 2020 election, Trump escalated his attacks. He made numerous false claims about widespread voter fraud. He targeted voting machines, mail-in ballots, and election workers. These accusations were repeatedly rejected by courts. No credible evidence supported his claims. Trump's persistent efforts to undermine faith in elections are deeply concerning. His actions erode trust in democratic institutions. This behavior sets a dangerous precedent for future elections. Trump's efforts to cast doubt on elections are not isolated. He has cultivated a network of allies. These individuals and groups actively promote his disinformation. They use social media, conservative media outlets, and rallies to spread their message. These allies often echo Trump's claims verbatim. They repeat debunked conspiracy theories. They attack the integrity of election officials and institutions. This coordinated effort creates an echo chamber of misinformation. The constant barrage of falsehoods has a real impact. It erodes public trust in the democratic process. It also provides justification for voter suppression efforts. Some states have passed laws making it harder to vote. These laws disproportionately impact minority voters. Turning Point USA is a right-wing organization. It targets young people with conservative ideology. The group has become a vocal proponent of Trump's election lies. They have actively spread misinformation about voter fraud. Turning Point USA has hosted events and rallies. They feature speakers who promote conspiracy theories. They have also used their social media platforms to amplify these messages. Their content often targets young people. This raises concerns about the long-term impact on their understanding of democracy. The organization's actions are part of a larger trend. Right-wing groups are increasingly promoting election denialism. They see it as a way to mobilize their base. They also use it to justify efforts to restrict voting rights. Section 4. The erosion of trust. Consequences for American democracy. The constant attacks on election integrity have serious consequences. They erode public trust in democracy. When people lose faith in the system, they are less likely to participate. This can lead to lower voter turnout. It can also make it harder to govern effectively. Erosion of trust also creates a volatile political climate. It can increase polarization. It makes it harder to find common ground. In extreme cases, it can even lead to violence. The January 6th insurrection was a stark reminder of the dangers of election denialism. The attack on the Capitol was fueled by lies about the 2020 election. It showed how quickly disinformation can turn into real-world violence. Section 5. The specter of violence. Experts warn of potential unrest. Experts are increasingly concerned about the potential for violence surrounding future elections. The spread of disinformation and the normalization of political violence create a dangerous environment. Law enforcement agencies are preparing for the possibility of unrest. They are monitoring extremist groups. They are also working to protect election infrastructure. The threat of violence is not limited to Election Day. It can also manifest in the form of intimidation of voters or election workers. This can have a chilling effect on democratic participation. Section 6. Safeguarding democracy, the need for vigilance and action. Protecting American democracy requires a multifaceted approach. Individuals, institutions, and government all have a role to play. Individuals can help by becoming more discerning consumers of information. They should be wary of information from unreliable sources. They should also be cautious about sharing information online without verifying it. Social media companies have a responsibility to combat the spread of disinformation on their platforms. They need to improve their content moderation policies. They should also work to make it harder for malicious actors to spread lies. Government officials have a duty to uphold the integrity of elections. This includes protecting voting rights and ensuring the security of elections. It also means condemning violence and holding those who spread disinformation accountable. Safeguarding democracy is an ongoing effort. It requires constant vigilance and a commitment to truth and justice.